my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. So today, first let me tell you, today is the letter C day. C is in what? What? Critters, 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 up here, critters. I am going to get the fabric out to make decision on what the setting fabrics will be, because that's kind of had me stalled, plus doing other projects. So now today is go. Today is the go day. But before we do that, there's two other things. First, it is the celebration for today is sneak a zucchini onto your neighbor's porch day. For some reason that just cracks me up, because actually my neighbor used to leave me zucchini on my back deck. His backyard and my backyard had a very low fence at that point, and so he would just put them up on the rail of my deck. I would come home from work and there'd be zucchini there. Yeah. So if you have a quilt with zucchini on it, which my farmer's market does actually, just because I have great memories, or if you want to share a recipe using zucchini, that is over at my fireside chat. So you want to do that on the Facebook group. So that's today. Okay, the other thing is I have on the calendar is the Halloween pattern, and that's this one. So I actually put it on there so that I would work on it. That may not happen for the rest of the weeks this month. We'll see, because if I'm working on this and I'm having fun with the pairs, this might not get booted again until September. So we'll see. This might be the last time you see this for a couple weeks. But first let me show you this clip, because I did a clip when I was just kind of thinking through some things and getting it set up to sew, and I thought you might find that interesting. And what I've done, let me just show you what I've done, because I need to be organized. Since I want to sew a row of blocks at a time, in order to do that, things are directional. So look at that. See, they're twisted and turned, and I want them to be in the position that I want them in. So basically, I have to resort these, because this should be all black, like here, this one. I haven't even trimmed these yet. Okay, so you can just see there. So I have to match the right center to the right blacks. What is with me? Okay, so here we go. So I have to match the right center to the right black fabrics, and I've got to resort all these, but they also need pressed and trimmed, because they're sew-in flips and they are not done yet. So I have to do all of that first. But then these are all sorted in the correct order for that's not how they're placed. Some of them be rotated, but I got all of these sorted so that I can just sew this as is for all 5 blocks. Is it 5 blocks? I think, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got 5 blocks, because I'm only doing 5 across by 6 down. With 1 row done, here we go. Here we go. So you can see it is, even with 1 less on it, see, it's pretty big. So the one thing I have to decide when I reboot it again, because I probably won't do it anymore this month, when I reboot it again in September, do I actually want to do the whole quilt? They take a little bit of time, and it's a bit repetitive, which I'm not as keen on. So I'm thinking I could just make a second row and make it a table runner. And I think that would be super cute. So that might be how I adjust things, because life is too short. You only have so much time to spend on each project, and that one just might have hit its limit. I really love the look of those. Sit down on the chair, not the floor. I love the look of those, of how those settings are. It is just so clever and so fun, and it is pretty fun to do, but it's very repetitive, which is really not my thing. For certain stuff, of course, I'm making pairs and I'm loving those, and they're repetitive, but it's they're bigger, they're not so small. Anyways, just true confessions. I mean, it's true life. We all do that. We get excited, we make some of it, and then we're like, oh, okay, maybe I got that out of my system. And so I'm thinking this would be a cute table runner to do a second row. And maybe I just don't even do a second row. Maybe when I come back to it, this is it, and I just put, do some sort of border treatment on it that might be cute. Maybe some piano key or, scrappy, who knows. But there we go. So this one will get set aside for a little bit. Okay, so the other two things we're going to do today is we do have a boatload of states again. Almost all of them are repeats. So if you are thinking of sending, go to the state page, because I only need now 6 states. There's only 6 states. So if it's not one of those states, then wait for some other opportunity to send things, because I don't need any more of the other states. I'm good. But I know some of it is in the mail, and so you're going to see today a boatload of state fabrics, and then you'll probably have another couple of days of that until what was already sent comes in. So that'll be good. So we'll look at that towards the end of this video. But I am ready. I am ready. So I had a lot of thinking to do, because for the critter quilts, on the first one, I used a lot of blue. And really, in a way, what I did is I had separated kind of the colors of the critter blocks into 3 sort of categories. And also the first 2 had a lot larger blocks, which showed kind of more the color of whatever that critter was made of. So the first one was a lot of blue. They had the sea creature and some other, and then the second one was more green, and I used green for the setting. This one is more earth tones. We have the browns, orange, gold, but there's a bit of blue, little pop of green, so a lot of gray in here. But I'm pretty sure this will go to a place where children are. So I want to sort of liven it up a little bit. The other thing is there's a lot of light backgrounds. A lot of the backgrounds on here are whites off whites. And the images are smaller, and there's many more images on this particular one than on the other 2. And you can go to the critter page and go look at the other 2 that are out there. So what I decided was I had not used purple for a while. I mean, I have, but not, I don't own a lot of purple. But I thought purple might be, and then purple might be a really good color. So what I started to do was just pull, because there's different shades of purple. There's lights then and darks. So let me just get everything over here a second. So the first thing I did was put some of the fabrics, just put some of these purples up there, plus a yellow, because I thought I'd put a yellow up there and just see how it looked. And I shared the pictures with the ambassadors because it's really fun to bounce it off with a small group of friends. And so I showed my buddies, and there was a suggestion that I don't go so dark. So like taking out kind of the darker colors, because of the fabrics having so much light background. So to keep it all much lighter in color. So what I did is I put up a second group of fabrics and took a look at that. And I really liked how that's going. I like how that's looking. So let me show you the difference between kind of the 2 sets of purples that I have and what I ended up with. They're basically 2 shades of purple. So let's take a look. I pulled from what I own, which is not a tremendous amount, but here it is. There is purples that lean more towards red. So they have that sort of red undertone. They lean that way on the color wheel. And then here are the ones that lean more blue. And you can see they're vastly different. And I have more of these than I have of these, although I have enough of both if I wanted to use one or the other. So what I decided was that there is more variety here, and more of the patterns, more of the fabrics have more pattern on them, which interests me. And here there's a bunch more that are more tonal, and even like I might be tossing out those pinks. I might toss out this darker one, like I talked about, not having the darker, and then maybe these are scissors and stuff that doesn't really make sense for this quilt. So it leaves me less of them to work with, and they're all kind of really basics, like they don't have a lot of lot of pattern on them, which I like the more pattern. Okay, so we're not going to do those. We're going to do this grouping, and I have things like, a lot of them have kind of this 30s print feel, which is fun. I have this great gingham. I've got the little dolls, the little nesting dolls. Then there's a group of them that have a white base, which is really wonderful because remember, there's a lot, I talked about having a lot of it with white based backgrounds or very light. So I think that this is wonderful. I do have this funky stripe. This is from my friend Victoria Finley Wolf's one of her older lines, but it may not work in there because it might be just a little too bold, you know, a little bit more. Here's a dot, some more 30s, a slanted stripe, which is always awesome, and then my Harmony wide back, which is a perfect. It goes exactly with all of this. It's got the right colors, so I can just use this also for the patchwork. So I've got all that. Then I did pull this earlier, which does have a blue base, but I just think the squirrel is so dang cute, so it probably is going to get worked in here. Then if I want to add some yellows, you know, not only do I have I have a lot of yellow, which I want to go to the paler yellows for the most part, but there's also some fun things like a mushroom fabric that one of you wonderful quilters sent me. I think this would be super cute in there somewhere. I've got a couple of them that have bees on them, and then this one has the bug jars, and I just think all of those will work in here somehow. So this is my working palette now. This is everything that I will work with. And the next thing I have to do is start. Start. And I will be starting by doing the top row. Here, let me get this. Okay, so we've got the top row, which is from the tiger, the cat, the koala, and it goes across this horizontal line right there. And there's not a lot of spacers in there, which is great. So I can start out with these colors. The bigger spacers ended up down towards the bottom, which I might, instead of just having a big piece of fabric, I might look in my, I will look in my parts bin to see if I have anything in this shade. That is not likely, but I might have something in the yellow, which will be work, or I might just make up a little block, a little star block, or a little square and a square block or something to fit down in here to sort of break up these two. Particularly, this one I've shifted, so it's not as big as that anymore. I've shifted it so that there's above and below, because I think that'll just balance it. I don't need that big of a chunk, but this is 4 inches tall, and this is 3.5 inches tall. So even though they seem like a bigger piece there, they're really not that big, 3.5 inches or 4 inches tall. And I do have to stitch the couple of shapes down. The penguin and the flamingo and the fish and the pig all have to be stitched down. And the fish and the pig will go first because they're on that top row. So that is where I'll be going. What I'm hoping, my goal is, as I'm filming everything, or as I'm sewing, I'm filming everything, and I will just show you segments as we go along, rather than it be like a whole day of working different parts, because there's just other things that I'm doing. And but my goal now is to start this and get the top done. That way it can get to the quilter. And then I do have a place in mind to offer it to and see if they would like it. But we have learned with the first 2 quilts that you actually have to have a finished quilt before you offer it to an organization. And that's because they just can't visualize it. They can't visualize the size, they can't visualize what it's going to look like from something like this. I mean, even you quilters tell me you can't visualize it. How would somebody who doesn't quilt understand what they're saying yes to just looking at a bunch of stuff on the wall? So it has to be a finished quilt for them to be offered to somebody. So, you know, last time it took us quite a few places before somebody accepted it. I know it's hard to believe, but when you're dealing with textiles and you're dealing with children, there are regulations and things and just stuff that organizations have to think through about how they can display. So that's that in a nutshell. Okay, what we're going to do for the rest of this is state fabric. We're going to go ahead and see what all came in. So let me put these fabrics away. I'll get the other stuff out. Okay, my friends, this is what came in. Oh my goodness, you guys are crazy. You are crazy. Okay, this is crazy fun, crazy fun. I am only going to do 6 minutes worth. Otherwise, these videos get way too long. And so I've got all the other normal stuff to talk about. So we're going to do 6 minutes of these, and then next Tuesday, I'll do another 6 minutes. We're just going to do that until they're done. There's only 6 states. So, okay, here we go. Remember, don't send anything unless it's those 6 states anymore. So we've got enough of everybody else. Okay, this one is coming from California, from Pat. Look, another Pat. Look at that. Oh, so nice. So she sent California Dreamin'. She sent California Fabric. Beautiful. Beautiful. And then one like this and one like this. Remember, all of these are already loaded. I've loaded everything, whether I'm able to show it today or not. Then she sent me a few other things, like some Gummy Bear fabric. Look how cute that is. I had some Gummy Bear earrings on the other day. I know a couple of you noticed that. She sent me some yellow strips for the yellow chiffon, and I also might end up with some of these yellow strips, yellow squares in here. So I'll cut these into squares for the yellow chiffon. And some super cute socks. Look at that. And some gummy gummies. Thank you. Oh my goodness, you guys are so awesome. You're so awesome. Okay, who is this from? This is from Penny in Louisiana. So this was great because it brought in another new state. There we go. And the Louisiana fabric. Ta-da! So let's get it right side up. All the yummy things you eat down in Louisiana. Oh yeah. I love that. It is wonderful. So that will be able to be fit in. Everything will fit in. Everything that's sent, there'll be at least a little bit of it fit in. But we'll see. We'll see how it all goes. Okay, this one here is, this is from Pat in New Jersey. And she sent a fairly big piece of fabric that's got all the states. It's got a whole bunch of different states on it. And she said that she makes a lot of charity quilts. And this was actually gifted to her from somebody to use for some of the charity quilts. And I believe she said she may have put some on there. And then she thought it would be great to send to me to see what I could do, work it in. And it is a fabric that's a little bit older. It's from 1996. So who was quilting in 1996? I'm not sure if I was yet. I have to go back. Yeah, I think I was. I was in 96. So, yeah. Thank you. Okay. Okay. I've got from Faye in North Carolina. Now, Faye sent me some yellow squares for the yellow chiffon. And look at the pretty card. That could be fabric, couldn't it? Love that. And so she's got polka dot for me, and then stacks. Stacks. That's great. Already cut. And I'm really thinking some of these will go into the critter quilt, some of those yellow squares. It just seems like they would be perfect. All right, this is from Elizabeth in Texas. Look at this beautiful, look at the beautiful card. I think it goes like that. No, it goes like this. I'm looking at the back. Isn't that pretty? Oh my goodness. But she didn't send Texas fabric. She sent Minnesota fabric. Look how wonderful that is. Because see, a lot of you either have, a vacation in another state and love it, or have lived in another state, or your home state is kind of a state you're not living in right now. So it's really fun to see what you send and what means something to you and what you've collected. So that is so good. Okay, what have I got here? This one is from Donna in Illinois. And there's another person who, look, oh, so this, this is a photograph. Look at that. That's a cool way to send something. And she also sent fabric that is not from, she's in Illinois. Yeah, did I say that? Yes, she's from Illinois, right. But she sent fabric that's not Illinois. She sent Nebraska fabric. So there you go. And I think she said she was going to do something for her sisters, and she had some left, and so that is wonderful. Okay, I've got this from Connie in Idaho. And this completed another state when it came in, the Idaho fabrics. And this card was painted, the painting that this card is done from was painted by her father. Isn't that awesome? So it was published on these cards. And then she sent me some Idaho fabric. She sent squares, 2 different kinds. So there we go. That was another state completed that we got in. Yay! And I believe somebody else wrote me that they sent some more Idaho. So that's nice. It's always nice to have more than one piece. So this is from Anne in South Dakota. Beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. And a South Dakota map with Mount Rushmore tagged on its position at South Dakota. Look at that. Cool. Okay, let's see if we can do a couple of more here. Okay. So this is from Lisa in Nebraska. So she said, USA card. And so she has a few Nebraska fabrics. And I put them, there we go. So there's Nebraska. And then I believe, I'm not a sports person, so I'm not sure, but I'm guessing that's a sports thing. And then another one that has the Nebraska words, because that's what we're looking for. We're not looking for the sports. We're looking for the Nebraska. There we go. So, ta-da-da. Got those. Thank you, Lisa. All right, let me do one more. And then I'll grab those other ones for Tuesday. We'll keep the other ones for Tuesday. This is from Chris in Missouri. And she remembered that I lived in St. Louis. And so that was so cool. So we got this St. Louis route, got Route 66, Route 40. There we go. Don't tread on us. The show me state. And then she also sent a piece of text print from Oregon. So there we go. So I have a little bit more state fabrics that came in. So let's just tack them on to today. First is from Pat in Minnesota. Look at the cute card. It's a Mary Engelbreit card for those of you who love Mary Engelbreit like I do. And this fabric, she said, is a like a custom fabric on batik done by, there's the company. So look at that. Look how cool that is. Ah, I love it. So the batiks are really neat. I love them. Okay, we have from Michelle, and I don't know what state she's from, but maybe Oregon. So we've got the Oregon panel here. Come on, Pat. Pull, pull, pull. There we go. There we go. Whee! Here's the Oregon panel. So pretty. I love the yellow and turquoise. Yellow and turquoise. Okay, what do we have? We have from Holly in Texas, and she sent a bunch of squares. So I've got some Texas squares, some new squares, and she even wrote to me on a piece of fabric. Texas, Texas. We've got some bluebells, bluebonnets, right? Correct me, Texas people, correct me, bluebonnets, right? So Texas in a couple of colors. There we go. Texas all the way. Let's see, what else did we get? This is from Stephanie in Maryland. And so she has some custom cards. Aren't those cool? I love them. And then we have this one. These are neat ones. I really like these where it's got all of the different cities around the image of the state. Do I have that right side up? I think so. Yeah, the tail. The tail's along the top like that. Because I've been out in that area of Maryland. Super cool. Look at this. Is it right side up? No. Here we go. Right side up. Look at the crabs. Look how cute they are. I think I'm going to hang my crab quilt. I think I'm going to change my quilts out and I want to put yellows and grays, but I don't think I have enough. So I might just put turquoise, put the crabs up. And here's the license plates. Those are cute. Those are cute for Maryland. And we got 2 more here that came in from Cindy in Minnesota. So here is that one with the all the cities and the state there. Do I have that right? I hope so. I'm not so good at looking the states. And they got all the words all around, but I can read Minnesota this way, so I think that's right. And then she also has the license plate fabric. I don't know, did we see these before today? Any of these little license plate ones? I think they're really cool. And also the Minnesota version of this fabric, which she sent me a nice big chunk. So do we, okay, I think a lot of you vacation in Minnesota. You talk about that in your notes to me, that's some place that you go. I think that's really cool. Could go back to a place. And then I have one from Canada. And this is, let me see, I think it's from Darlene. Yeah, Darlene in Canada. Super cute card. Now, Darlene, I have to tell you that it's a little warm down to mail here. So the chocolate you sent me melted, but I put it in the fridge. But they all melted. So I have now rectangles of the chocolate. But you were such a smart girl, and you put them in plastic bags, so then they didn't leak anyways. They didn't leak out of their containers, but they did melt. And she also sent me some toffees, which I had one already. They're super good. Look at the pins. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. And before I show you the Canada she sent me, she made me, oh, Darlene, I cannot believe you did this for me. She made me a Nana's peppermint sign to put on my quilt of my Nana's purse that I did with the peppermints falling in it. And I said I never had any of the words to put on it, which kind of made me stuck back when I made it many years ago, because I didn't applique and I really didn't know what I was doing. So I just kind of stopped at that point because I wanted the words and I didn't have a way to do it. She did it for me. Oh, thank you so much. And then she sent me some pretty Canadian fabrics. So they're you guys have really nice fabrics up there with Canada on it. Look at this. Look at that. And this was, you had the 150th year anniversary. I remember when that happened a little while back, because there was this huge project, like a quilt project that was being done in Canada with, I think it honored, I forget what it did. They honored like a lot of people, different people, each block. Put me a note. But that was quite a few years ago, right? At least like 6 or 7, 8, 10. How long ago was that? Another Canada flags, Canadian flags, some text print, some Mounties, the Canadian Mounties. Nothing's complete without a Canadian Mountie. And and another one, a little panel. Look at that. Oh, okay. Thank you so much for all these. We have, I think, only about 3 states yet. Although you'll see, I'm on the wrap up here since I'm inserting this. It showed a little bit more, but I've got Mississippi coming and Rhode Island coming. Yes, so we only have a few more. Like you people in Alabama, haven't heard from anybody there. I know you got quilters in Alabama. I taught there. Alabama, Delaware, Mississippi, Rhode Island, and Vermont. I've actually taught in all of those states, so I know there are quilters there who even know who I am. So if you want to be the quilter who sends for those states, and if you don't live in that state but you have a connection, or you just love to send a piece of fabric from that state, those are the 6 states now. So you don't need to send any from the other states anymore. Those are all taken care of. Okay. I am also going to be sewing for the next few days. I'm excited to get that started and try out the purple fabrics and see how they look. Mwah. I love you. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.